Let's get to it. Perfect transition. Let's talk about our predictions and what these guys think is going to happen in the game. Ryan, keep going. What is your prediction for how Penn State is going to finish this game and how West Virginia and this score is going to play out?
I went with 31-24, so I don't have them covering right around. So I'll be honest. I mean, whenever I pick these, it's really, I'm looking at the line, looking at the total, picking a number somewhere in that ballpark. To me, Nick Singleton. Can Kotelnicki find a way to unlock Nick Singleton? That's the big thing. 2, Tyler Warren, man. He was very good in the red zone last year. Can he take advantage of a West Virginia linebacker core and even a secondary that's there's a lot of questions about right now, keeping an eye on him down in the red zone. I think defensively Penn State will be fine. I don't really know what we're going to get with Kotelnicki's offense. You guys have been in practice a little bit more than me, but I don't think you've seen a whole lot. No one really does. But to me, Nick Singleton, unlocking him, not seeing that kind of sophomore slump that we saw last year, I have no doubt in my mind that has to be a big part of what Kotelnicki has been trying to stir up here over the last however many months, because he is a true game breaker that we did not see, as that game breaker that we expected to be last year. Katron's going to get those 4 or 5 yards. He's always going to fall forward and get that reliable rush that you need consistently. It's Singleton who needs to be the game breaker. I think you can get that against West Virginia, but at the same time, West Virginia did a very good job against Penn State's rush game, or for the most part, did a pretty good job against Penn State's rush game last year. So to me, Singleton, circle Tyler Warren. Can he be the red zone guy? I think he could be a pretty good threat down there. I think he was tied in the Big Ten for touchdowns last year in the red zone with 6 or 7. So can he build off of that? And obviously, what Drew Allar do we get, and what kind of a playbook do we get? There's so many factors there. I'll lean towards Penn State, but I do think it'll be a little bit closer than I think most Penn State fans would prefer.
Fitz, where are you going with this game?
The opposite. Push back on a couple of things. Katron and Nick both averaged over 5 yards a carry last year against West Virginia. It's not a huge number, but it's a move the sticks type number. Mm-hmm. If they get to the second level and they make a guy miss, which was their big problem last year, obviously, they've got a chance. I don't know how this secondary is going to tackle. Like you look at, and I'm playing the portal game here where you go out and you find some guys and you don't know if the guy from Duquesne, maybe a freaking stud, the guy from Northwestern, they might be really, really good. Beanie Bishop was obviously tremendous. You just don't know. And I'm curious to see, and you look at that tape from last year, even though it's a different offense, Penn State did manage to break to the second level, then they just didn't take it to the third. Is Andy Kotelnicki in a spot to get Nick Singleton that little bit of space where he doesn't have to rely on his vision as much as he has to rely on just getting away from the guy that he can clearly see? Like his vision,
put the pedal down.
Yeah, put the pedal down and go. And I think that's very possible with Nick Singleton. And I think that you can do that as a runner. You can do that in motion, which I see a lot of motion, I feel. And you can do that as a guy that you can slip the ball to out of the backfield. So maybe this is the game when we start to see some more yards after catch. Like I said, they played off last year. I could see them doing it again. Trey Wallace was incredibly active last year. Like he kept popping up. I thought it was Keandre or something, kept popping up with these little swing passes, these little bubble screens, things like that. And he was effective like that. So I think they do that again. I have Penn State 34, West Virginia 17. My flip side there is that I don't, 17 points against this defense, or what we expect this defense to be, is actually a good bit of points. Mm-hmm. So I've seen some of the other guys in the 20s and things like that, but like based off of what we've seen the last couple of years, and I know it's a new defensive coordinator, I know it's a new setup and guys in different positions, but Penn State playing at the end of August as the deeper team, I think the more talented team, and I'm curious how much better West Virginia is than they were last year. Yeah. Like maybe in depth, maybe in from 1 to 85, maybe they're better, but I'm looking at 1 to 10 where you've got Zach Frazier, one of my all-time favorites, Doug Nestor, Beanie Bishop, Lee Pogba. Those are legitimate players that leave giant holes. And not only do they leave giant holes in that position, but as you see in the offensive line, there's a trickle effect to, moving the guard into center. And then all of a sudden you've got to replace the guard and you've got a new right tackle. So all these things add up to me. And I think Penn State is in a good spot here. And I also will say that I think Garrett Greene's going to throw to Cole Taylor a lot, the tight end transfer that was in last year. I think he's going to have a bunch of targets on Saturday. So that's where I'm at with that. Greene, tremendous quarterback, running game tremendous, but is Penn State going to be able to snuff that out? And if you get West Virginia down, they're going to have to throw the ball, and I think that's to Penn State's advantage as well.
So I'll just wrap this up quickly because you guys made a lot of great points. I just want to round back to Nick Singleton, because last year what I observed is the way that West Virginia played their defense. They started a safety at 8 to 10 yards, and suddenly Singleton and Allen found that guy in their face 2 yards after the line of scrimmage, and they struggled at times to break that tackle. What if in Andy Kotelnicki's offense, that guy who's supposed to be there is suddenly somewhere else because he got the wrong signal? That's what you're looking for in this particular offense to create those explosive plays. So you're not asking Singleton to break that tackle when he first gets the ball and kind of getting his literal feet under him when he gets through the line of scrimmage. I like Garrett Greene a lot. I think that he is a really good quarterback. He does some things from an aggressiveness with a football perspective that can keep, as a passer, West Virginia in this game. And some of their receivers, Hudson Clement is very fast, and the kid number 7 is a big physical target down the field that I think if Penn State's corners aren't ready, they could make some of those splash plays to keep them in the game. I have that happening, but Penn State, as you guys have said, the deeper team, 31-21, and I agree with Fitz. 21 points maybe is high, but it also kind of, to me, signifies my belief in Garrett Greene and Neil Brown as a play caller, that they'll have a plan. Last year, they had some wrinkles for Penn State, and I think this year they're going to have some wrinkles for Penn State that will challenge the Nittany Lions early and keep them in the game.